Welcome to Hollywood Secrets. Some movie roles are so legendary that it's impossible to picture anyone else playing them. But behind the scenes, Hollywood casting decisions are full of surprises, regrets, and missed opportunities. Some of the most iconic roles in film history nearly went to completely different actors, sometimes by choice, sometimes by studio decision, and sometimes by sheer bad luck. Tom Selleck, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones is one of the greatest action heroes of all time, and it's impossible to imagine anyone but Harrison Ford cracking the whip and wearing that iconic fedora. But did you know the first choice for the role wasn't Ford? It was Tom Selleck. Director Steven Spielberg and producer George Lucas were set on casting him, and he even auditioned. However, there was a problem. Selleck had already signed on to star in the TV show Magnum, P.I., and the network wouldn't let him out of his contract. Even worse, production on Magnum ended up being delayed, meaning he could have played Indy after all. By the time that was clear, Ford had already stepped into the role, and the rest is history. Al Pacino, Han Solo, Star Wars. Imagine Han Solo with a completely different attitude. One that was less cool cowboy and more intense gangster. That's what we might have gotten if Al Pacino had taken the role. At the time, Pacino was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood thanks to The Godfather and Serpico, and George Lucas wanted a well-known name for his roguish smuggler. Pacino was offered the part, but ultimately turned it down because he didn't understand the script. He later admitted that he had no idea what Star Wars was even supposed to be about. Other actors considered for the role included Jack Nicholson, Christopher Walken, and Burt Reynolds, but it ultimately went to a then-unknown Harrison Ford, who made Han Solo an icon. Eric Stoltz, Marty McFly, Back to the Future. Few actors are as perfectly cast as Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. But what if I told you he wasn't the original Marty McFly? In fact, the role was given to Eric Stoltz, who even filmed weeks' worth of scenes before being replaced. Stoltz was a talented dramatic actor, but his performance was reportedly too serious, lacking the comedic timing and natural charm that the role needed. The filmmakers made the difficult decision to fire him and replace him with Fox, who was their first choice all along. However, Fox had been busy filming Family Ties, and his schedule had made him unavailable until the studio made it work. The result? One of the most beloved time travel movies of all time, with a lead performance that remains unforgettable. John Travolta, Forrest Gump, Forrest Gump. John Travolta was one of the first actors considered to play Forrest Gump, but he turned it down. He later admitted that it was a mistake, as Tom Hanks' performance went on to win him an Oscar and make the film a cultural phenomenon. Other actors who were considered included Bill Murray and Chevy Chase, but it's hard to imagine anyone else delivering the sincerity, humor, and heart that Hanks brought to the role. Travolta, however, didn't walk away empty-handed. 1994, the year Forrest Gump was released, was also the year Pulp Fiction revived his career. So, in the end, things worked out for both actors. Sean Connery, Gandalf, The Lord of the Rings. Sir Ian McKellen's portrayal of Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy is legendary, but he wasn't the first choice for the role. The filmmakers originally approached Sean Connery, offering him a massive paycheck, including a percentage of the film's earnings. However, Connery turned it down, famously saying that he didn't understand the script. Looking back, that decision likely cost him hundreds of millions of dollars, as the Lord of the Rings movies became one of the highest-grossing trilogies of all time. While Connery was a great actor, it's hard to imagine anyone delivering You Shall Not Pass with the same gravitas as McKellen. Will Smith, Neo, The Matrix. What if The Matrix had starred Will Smith instead of Keanu Reeves? That almost happened. Smith was offered the role of Neo, but he turned it down in favor of starring in Wild Wild West, a decision he later regretted. He admitted that he didn't fully grasp the Wachowskis' vision for the film and wasn't sure if it would work. Meanwhile, Keanu Reeves took on the role, bringing his signature quiet intensity to the character and making Neo one of sci-fi's greatest heroes. Smith has since said that he's glad he turned it down because he believes he would have played the role differently and possibly ruined it. Emily Blunt, Black Widow, Marvel's Cinematic Universe. Before Scarlett Johansson became synonymous with the role of Black Widow, the character was almost played by Emily Blunt. She was the original choice for the part and was set to appear in Iron Man 2, but due to a scheduling conflict with the film Gulliver's Travels, she had to back out. That left the door open for Johansson, who has since played Natasha Romanoff in multiple Marvel films. Blunt has said she has no regrets, but fans often wonder what her version of Black Widow would have been like. Nicolas Cage, Superman Lives. This one is legendary. In the late 1990s, Tim Burton was set to direct a Superman film called Superman Lives, with Nicolas Cage in the lead role. Concept art, costume tests, and even script drafts exist, showing that the movie was well into pre-production. However, after multiple delays and budget concerns, the film was scrapped before it could ever get made. Cage's take on Superman remains one of Hollywood's greatest what-ifs. Leonardo DiCaprio, Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. Christian Bale's chilling performance as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho is one of the most memorable in horror thriller history, but the role was almost played by Leonardo DiCaprio. At the time, DiCaprio was one of the biggest heartthrobs in Hollywood, fresh off Titanic, and the studio wanted him for the lead role. However, the film's dark, violent themes didn't sit well with his fan base, and he eventually left the project. That allowed Christian Bale, who had been fighting for the role, to step in and deliver a performance that cemented his status as one of the most intense actors of his generation. Matt Damon, Jake Sully, Avatar. James Cameron's Avatar became the highest-grossing film of all time, and Sam Worthington's role as Jake Sully made him a household name. But originally, Cameron wanted Matt Damon for the part. Damon, however, turned it down due to scheduling conflicts with the Bourne franchise. To this day, he has said that missing out on Avatar is one of the biggest regrets of his career, not just because of the film's success, but because Cameron offered him a cut of the box office profits. That decision likely cost him hundreds of millions of dollars.